Connecting to the VPS program. To connect, the first thing that you would do is to click in your Start button at the bottom left and then type remote. Then you can see one or several connections, but you're going to use the one that says remote desktop connection. You're going to right click on it and then ping to taskbar. You may have other options here, but you're going to click ping to taskbar. Then you're going to have a blue icon at the bottom bar. You might not see that right now because of lack of space, but it's here. I can see it. It's a blue icon. So you're going to click on the blue icon and you're going to enter the IP number here, which you received in your email, in your welcome email with us. Then you're going to also enter the username here, okay? You're going to click allow me to save credentials, so you have that, and click save. Then you will go to display, select the maximum that you can here, full screen, uncheck use all my monitors, so don't do that. Here select 16 because you're not going to have any graphics that are important. It's going to make the program faster. So 16, you can check this, display the connection bar when I use the full screen, so that's fine, to enter, okay? Then in local resources, you're gonna click settings and select do not play and do not record. Then here you can leave it the way it is, and here uncheck printers if you are using a Windows computer, and if you are using a Mac computer, then you can leave the printers checked, okay? Then the clipboard should be always checked. Then you click more, and of course in a Mac it's going to be a little bit different, this remote connection, but if you need help, we will help you with that. So this training is for a Windows computer, but with a Mac it's as simple as this one, but we'd rather help you with the Mac in order to set it up correctly, your remote desktop connection, and then you can go from there. So probably you're gonna find this one checked, but whatever it is, you don't need to have this checked, but this one, the one that says local disk C. Some of you may prefer to have a different one, but for now let's say that the C is the correct one, and this one could be unchecked. Alright, so you're gonna have all this unchecked, the local C checked. That's it. Alright, here you don't need to do anything, nothing here, it's okay. Detect connection quality automatically, and nothing here is okay. This so remember that you clicked save, and then we're gonna click connect. When you show this, you're gonna click don't ask me again, okay? Don't ask me again. So connect. Here you're gonna paste or type your password. Be sure that you have remembered my credentials so you can connect next time with one click. After this, if you get this screen, just click don't ask me again, okay? And then we will connect here, and this is more or less how it will look, your screen. All right, your program is going to be set up, and this is more or less how it will look. At the top you're gonna have a blue bar. You don't see it again for lack of space, but it doesn't matter now. What you're gonna do is you can close it completely by clicking the X at the top at the blue bar. Okay, so you can close it completely. I'm gonna do it. By the way, the first time that you do it, you're gonna receive this. So click don't display this message again. It's to avoid being to avoid this pop-up. So now to enter the next time, I'm gonna click the blue icon at the bottom, and in this case I'm gonna click connect, and it's gonna connect without asking you anything now. Okay, so really easy. Again, talking about the one at the top, the bar, the center button, the one that is to the left of the X, you can restore now, and that will allow you to see at the bottom your computer, and at the top the VPS server. VPS stands for Virtual Private Server. Okay, so you have that now, and that's pretty much that. Now we're ready to open the program. Your program comes already set up, so you're gonna right click open, or you can double click, but right click open makes you sure that you're opening the program correctly, and the program will open. Now that you have it here, you're gonna enter. If you have selected several users, you may have a password to enter. Otherwise, the default password is gonna be already set, and it's 123456. So when you click enter here, this password is 123456 already. So you can click continue and enter, and that's it for this part. The program has 3 levels: simpler, advanced, and expert. When you enter, you will be in the advanced level. I recommend to use the expert level instead of the advanced level, and definitely not to use the simpler level because it's really too simple. But here in the levels here, you can select the one you want: simpler, then you can click menu, advanced, the one we were, and expert. This one may look a little bit overwhelming, but in fact it's very easy to use, and once you start using this level, you won't want to go to any other level. So if you want an advice, use the expert level from the beginning. Otherwise, if you feel that this is too much for you, you can go back here to the advanced level. If you want to enter directly into the expert level when you get out of the program, you can go to the setup here, setup, and then AM privileges, and then here you will click level 3. Okay, and that way when you enter back, you will go to the expert level directly. So I advise you to use the expert level if you can. It doesn't matter that it looks a little bit overwhelming at this point, but it will be really easy later. Also notice that you have here 100 contacts that I put for this training. Your program will contain just one that we did a test with that one. So ignore this, ignore the fact that this one contains 100 testing records. So that's all for this. Now we're going to learn how to open the credit repair area, how to repair the credit in 3 steps. I'm gonna teach you how to do it from both levels, advanced and the expert, even though we will continue working on the expert. To do it from the advanced, we're gonna go to the advanced level. I clicked levels and then advanced, and then I'm gonna click here, credit, and I'm gonna click here, credit repair in 3 steps. Pretty simple. We have all this. Now, to do it from the expert level, I'm gonna go to the expert level first, and then the same. From here, credit repair, I'm gonna click credit repair in 3 steps. That's all for this part. How to add a client. Once we are here in the credit repair in 3 steps, we can click add client to add a client. Normally, or when you become an expert, you can also add a client by clicking the plus sign up here. And actually there are other ways to do it, like for example clicking the contacts at the top menu in the menus, the top menus, and click add contact. So 3 ways, and actually there are a couple of other ways, but for now add client from here. So we're gonna click add client. It will be the same from the advanced level. So here I'm gonna put John Smith. You can put the date of birth. It should be with slashes like this. You have an example here how you should write it. The social, you can write it any way you want. It's going to be formatted automatically. The address, you can put whatever. Well, whatever is the correct address, of course. Phone number, mobile, if that is the case, the email of the client. Let's put my email at gmail.com, for example. And now this is the important part. This is the report provider. Okay, so you're going to select. We are compatible with Identity IQ with one click, Identity Club, Privacy Guard, Smart Credit, My Free Credit Score Now, and Pro Credit. So let's say that we select Identity IQ, and you're gonna put the username and password that your client gave you. Okay, check that everything is correct. A few tricks I'm gonna tell you now related to this one. Couple of things only. One is the ability, for example, sometimes you type by mistake all in capitals. Not a good idea because it's gonna look not the best when you are printing the letters, because the name is gonna be all capitals and it's gonna look a little bit fake or unreal, or like you did it with an automatic program and not like your client did it, which is the idea. So you're gonna click this P and it's gonna put it as proper, you see, automatically. Same thing with the address. So if you type everything in capital, the address is different. If you type it in capital and you liked it, that's fine. Otherwise, and actually you can even force it to with a Shift Control Alt to be all in caps like this, okay? Or you can click and have it like this. You select the one you like. Notice that we have in many places tooltips, okay, that you can use for your advantage to know not only what it says but also some other options, like clicking with Shift or clicking with Shift Control, etc. So that's it. Now you click close, and the data, you can see, is here, is available here. And the data of the credit report is going to be available somewhere else. Okay, I'm going to show you in a second. But that's it for now, for this area, for this part. How to import the credit report. To import the credit report, we're going to click on Extract Disputes. There are other ways, but right now we're kind of doing the simple way. Extract Disputes. When we click there, we go to this area, verify that at the top you have the name of your client. Okay. Here, you're going to have the provider that you selected, the username, the password. As you enter them, it can be modified in case that you detect that you made a mistake. It can be modified. And the last 4 digits of the Social Security, that automatically will be set here. In some cases, you need to type here the security word, as you can see in the tooltip. That's why it's very important that you browse, if you will, that you hover your mouse on every part to learn the different functionality that sometimes, for example, this one is copy the field left, things like that. And then you're gonna click the button here. Okay, you're gonna click the button here, and you're gonna extract all the disputes. You can extract all items, meaning positive as well, which is unnecessary. Is to me is something that you shouldn't do. So you're gonna click disputes, but some people like to download everything for some reason. So we're gonna click disputes only, and the program will extract everything. So when you finish extracting the disputes, you will see this message: disputes extracted, proceed to step 3. So there are 2 ways the credit repair advanced. The step 3 has 2 levels: advanced and expert. Again, I suggest that you do it in the expert area, not because this is a little bit simpler, but this one is great, especially because you're going to have so many much more features that you can use in the future. So I really think that it's worth the little effort to do the expert area here. So you're going to click OK to close this and click Credit Repair Expert Area. In this particular case, we will see that we have 41 disputes extracted. So let me explain a little bit how everything works here. You can see, for example, the creditor, the column of the creditor. Don't get overwhelmed because this looks so crowded. This has 41 disputes, and you are displaying everything. So this is much more efficient, like 100 times more efficient than any other software out there, where you have 1 dispute per page. So you will need 41 pages to display these 41 disputes. This is a little bit crowded, but it's so efficient, which is what you want. Efficient. This is designed to do thousands and thousands of clients at the same time. This is the software used by the big companies to do their work. The software that professionals use for its power. So anyway, this is the account column, the creditors column first. In this particular case, we have all these here. Then we have the account here, the amount, and also we have here the status. Additionally, we have the type, like late payment, collections, charge-off, judgments, and etc., because you can scroll down, right? Not necessarily like that. You can scroll down like this. The inquiries, for example, okay? And then you have the letter assigned automatically and the dispute reason also assigned automatically. Okay, so this is kind of very important. Notice that you have one line per credit bureau. So for example, you have here Equifax, Experian, TransUnion. It's color coded for your convenience, and so it's very easy, and you can sort anything. For example, you can sort by credit bureau, and then you can see a segment. In this case, Equifax, Experian is another segment, etc. And TransUnion, you know, we have 15 here, 19 here. Or you can sort by anything, by type, and then you have the little, how many collections you have, how many inquiries, how many, etc. You can sort by credit, or of course, you can sort by account. And in this case, notice, let me go to the bottom here. You see that here we have these two that says ignore. And the reason is that we have in this particular test these two disputes or items that have the same creditor, is the same type, and is the same account name. So actually, even though in this particular case has different amounts, but it should be more than that. I should have 3 different numbers if this to be correct. So these ones are ignore, because when you dispute, you don't want to include the amount. So it's something that you need to decide by yourself, but automatically it's putting ignore because of that, because it's the same creditor, it is the same type, and it's the same account. Okay, other things that you can do here, of course, this is the heart of the program from the credit repair point of view. From the business point of view, there are hundreds of things, but from the credit repair point of view, this is the heart of the program. So the better that you learn all this and get familiarized with its many features, well, the better for you. Things that you can do here. For example, it's not a good idea to dispute the inquiries in the first round. So we can, and probably should, omit the inquiries. We can omit them, or we can change them, the status, put them on hold, for example, for a while, in the meantime that your client tells you which ones they want to dispute. Some companies don't dispute inquiries. They don't want. Sometimes it's difficult to delete at the same time. Well, you do it correctly. If you do it, especially if you do it in a separate letter, it's going to be a little bit more reasonable that they get deleted, and especially if you dispute the ones that have been declined. So that's why you need the help of your client. So in this case, I can do all these statuses. I can change into on hold, but I can do it in a easier way if I, for example, use these black arrows. These black arrows are spread in many parts of the program, and you can see them here. Even here, there are many black arrows, and you can click here in any of the ones to the right of the inquiry, and from there you can select them You can omit them, and expand is a rare option that you're going to expand on a previous search that you did, but these ones are the most useful. So let's say that we're going to select them pretty quickly, and then we can change all the statuses. So I'm going to use the replace button here to change the status to on hold. Okay, so now I have all the inquiries on hold. So now, well, they're not going to be considered for disputing. Okay, I can select again all the disputes from this contact by clicking all here, up here, or clicking the name of the client, or even here at the bottom. Okay, so essentially we have three ways. The one that I use the most, even though we don't do credit repair, but the ones that I use the most is this one, and I click all. So now we have these ones which are ignore. You can have the ignore here as well, so you could have changed it to ignore, but if you put it on hold, it's different than ignore, and these ignore usually are used to identify the ones that are duplicate, which could be an advantage for the savvy credit repair professional to dispute those items as duplicates, because that's what they are, at least to the eye of the credit report, because they have the same account name in this particular case. This is just a test. If this one would say 81 or this one 82, for example, then it can be considered different accounts, and the program would have flagged those with ignore. Okay, so now once we have that, we can do many things here, by the way, that probably are a little bit out of the scope of this training. We can go to another videos. You can check on that. There are many. I strongly suggest that you hover the mouse, for example, to understand that this icon is a duplicate icon, because you may not know, yes, because you have this icon here that is a duplicate, so it's a good idea. Also, these tabs are very useful, and they have a lot of content here. For example, and this is just an example, I don't want to deviate from what I'm saying, but for example, you can click here and really do exactly, you can extract, you can import the credit report from here, as opposed to, so that's what I said before, when you are a little bit of an expert, you can import directly from here, as opposed to having to import from the credit repair in 3 steps. This one will expedite your work. But for now, this is okay. We have here. Also, with the same technique, it's possible, for example, to select all the collections. So I'm going to click here, for example, to the right of a collection, and select all the collections with this. And I can do other things that we will see in one of the next videos, how to create the validation letter for collections if you want to validate those collections with the creditor. That is a different technique, but we're going to see it in the next video. For now, this is okay. I'm going to select them all again. Okay, select all, and we'll go to the next video. Creating groups. There are essentially 2 kinds of groups: the group that you create and the group that the program can create under your indication. If you want to create a group, you can mark here in this column. You can essentially mark the ones you want for that group, any number would do. Of course, they have to do status, otherwise they won't print. And automatically, when you print them, they will be grouped. Okay, so that's a way. And you can clear this, by the way, here at the top. You can clear, mark, clear all, omit the one you have selected, select the ones you have. So you can do several things. Okay, so I'm going to put clear all. And or we can create a group by clicking here. Set several disputes per letter, essentially creating a group. This is the group column. Okay, group column. You see here for the G, and it has the functionality that when you click with Shift, it can sort. And so, so it has several functionality here. Now, right now, this has an indication that the number of days between batches, or between rounds, if you will, is going to be 30. And the number of disputes per letter is 99. So essentially all. So if that is correct, you can click. Well, if it's not correct, you can also click here and change it. So we're going to assume that you want to print all the disputes in one letter, except for these inquiries that are on hold and these other that are ignored. Okay, so we're going to click here. And we can do it from selected. That would be potentially from a little group that you have previously selected. So for example, I'm gonna do it both ways, so you can learn, because it's obviously an important feature. See, if I select all the collections, some people like to dispute the collections separately, right? So I selected all the collections, and now I'm going to create the groups based on this. I have one for Equifax, and I have some others. So now I'm going to click Set Several Disputes, and I'm going to click Selected, as opposed to All, because All will be all of the disputes for this client. All the ones are available, the ones that have the to-do status. But if I do from Selected, those are the ones that I have selected. So I create, and I can leave it like this. I don't need to precise less or nothing. That's fine. And the groups are created. This one doesn't have a group because it's only one. And this one has a group of 4, and this one has a group of 5. Okay, so I created those groups pretty easily. Now I'm going to create the groups for all the disputes. Either I select them all for visual effect, or simply I am going to click all, and it's going to be considered in spite that I don't have all selected, because I'm saying all. Okay, so I'm going to say all, and same thing here. I want all, so I redo my groups, and this letter for Equifax will contain 15, this one will contain 11, and this other one will contain 6 for TransUnion. Okay, so I hope that this part is clear, because it's so important. So just to be clear, we have 3 main ways to create groups. 1, mark, check these check boxes, and then when we print, we can select print checked disputes, and automatically the groups will be created. So that's one way. Another way would be to select a group some way, like for example all the collections or all the late payments, or anything for the matter that you would like. For example, here you can mark other things and select them, and then produce a group of that particular, for example, all collections or anything that you want to mark. That could be selected, and then produce a group. Or in this case, select all the letters available and in one big group, or in this case 3 big groups. Those are the 3 ways. Okay, so that is for this section. While you can print envelopes just by clicking this icon, there is a way that you can print envelopes automatically collated with the letters just by doing, actually instead of envelopes, there is an insert for the double window envelope number 10. So here, if you hover your mouse, you'll see that you can click with Shift to set the automatic printing. So I'm gonna click with Shift. Okay, print. So I'm saying to print automatically, and I have automatic printing is on. You can see that in the tooltip. Okay, and also you see this red dot that indicates that the automatic printing of envelopes is on. Okay, so that's the way that you can print envelopes, and certainly you can print envelopes by clicking to print envelopes or even labels, as you can see in the tooltip as well. Let me take the opportunity to point out that in many tooltips you can see at the bottom that says hold the Alt key before hovering to maintain. For example, if I press the Alt key and then I go over the button, you see I can have a pop-up window that explains everything without having to worry to read if I can read too fast or not. Okay, so that would be by clicking and pressing and holding essentially the Alt key and then moving on top of the icon. Okay, well, that's that for the envelopes. How to add or attach documents to your disputes. Obviously, you may want to send, to print documents like the proof of ID, the proof of address, etc. to your documents. That's very easy. You need to have the documents in somewhere on the server. Usually you're going to have them inside the documents folder, for example. That could be a good idea, but it could be essentially anywhere. And then you're going to click here, Documents. In the Documents tab, click the Add button, and you can put a label here if you want, otherwise it will be added automatically. So you're going to create a blank record first, then you are going to click here to a document. So we're going to click here in this arrow, okay, and we go. In this particular case, I put a sample here. I put a document here in the documents inside Creative Money Machine Pro Plus in the documents folder, but it could be essentially anywhere, but it has to be a PDF document though. You can have several PDF documents. I'm gonna have this one only. And now I could put it in this particular field, saying yes, but that will take too much space. I recommend you not to do it. That's why we have the option no to the right. So the right most option usually is the correct one, and or the recommended one. And so here we have the path to that particular file. Okay, so we can see it by clicking on it, etc. We can see the document also by clicking this one that we call this dot, this icon as a dot that we call action button, so you can see it. Now, if you want to print those documents, you're gonna click this. You're gonna click on this box. if you want to print. So the ones that are checked marked, so you can have unlimited. Usually you're gonna have 2 or 3 at the most, right? So you can have, but you can have potentially as many as you like. And but this one should be checked, and the documents that you want to print. So you may have many documents, but only 2 or 3 are gonna be printed. So you're gonna check, mark those ones that you wanna be printed, that you wanna print actually. So all right, so that's fine, and this is it. That's how you mark them, and you can select them. You can review them by here, and here automatically we have the description of the document. You could have put something different, and still you can type whatever you want here, but that's the way. Printing the letters. To print the letters, you click this button, the Print Disputes button. Remember that we have some documents, one document to print automatically, and also that we have the automatic printing of envelopes. So we have 3 things to print throughout, collated through 3 bureaus. So I'm gonna click Print Disputes. You can also print the letters to the portal. Not a good idea now. In the future, this is gonna be a necessity, so we are already ready for that. But for now, click Printer. Green Cloud is okay. For the Mac, it's gonna be a little bit different. We will explain that in a different video. So you can click Print Marked if you have selected some, in this column, some disputes previously, and then the program will group them all automatically. Or you should click Selected, and you should see record being browsed. If you change this by mistake, you need to put it back. So you always check visually record being browsed, Green Cloud, and OK. Okay, so you click OK or press Enter. It will be the same. Now the program will compile, essentially will create those letters and add also, in this case, the Social Security. We have also the envelope here, the insert for a double window, the window number 10 envelope. Okay, and so still the program is creating those letters, and then once they are printed in the sort of preview that we have here, okay, the Green Cloud printer. So we have the envelope, we have the letter for Equifax, we have collated, we have Social Security, then we have the Experian, the letter, and collated the Social Security, and TransUnion, the letter, and the Social Security. So everything is collated. It's kind of pretty nice. Then you're gonna click Save as PDF. Again, in the Mac is different. So you're gonna click Save as PDF, and below this PC, you are going to see your computer, your local computer. This is your local computer. That's gonna say, it's gonna say CO main or something, depending what is the name of your local computer. Okay, so you're gonna click on this, and you're going to create a new folder. Name. You're gonna create a new folder. I have too much stuff, so anyway, CMMN letters. All right, this folder, once you create it, you don't need to create that again, so it's only one time. And so you enter. Oh, there was already one. Oh, okay, so I'm not gonna create it. Okay, fine, no problem. So I'm gonna look for it, CMMN letters, probably from previous tests, and I'm going to type. Then probably, I mean, you can do it different ways. You can create subdirectories, one for each client, etc. Or you can put the name of the client and today's date, for example, right? Like, for example, today's date. Okay, and save it. Now this is saved on your local computer, right? It's saved on your local computer, and pretty much you can go to your local computer and print it from there to any printer that you may have. That way you can be anywhere in the world and save it to your local computer, and from there you can print to your local printer. Okay, so it's pretty easy, and that is the way that you print. Then when you finish, you're gonna click this the X to get out, and you're back. Notice now that we have the status had been changed to in progress, and the print on date, so meaning today, you have it here, and then the overdue on. So that essentially is when this is overdue. Here you can change that in this tab. Right now is set to 30 days, as you can see. This is the default number, and this is specific number. If you want to have a different number for a particular client, that is not 30 days. So the default, and this is a particular number if you want to have a different number, and that's pretty much that. Now you have your letters printed, or at least saved, and you can print them from your local computer. So that's all for this part. In this video, I'm going to explain how to create the freeze letters. This is a popular technique where you freeze all the minor bureaus, and then they cannot provide or supply information to the main three bureaus. You can learn that technique of the internet in many places, but the technique how to create those letters here I'm going to explain right now. So first thing, you're gonna add a dispute right here. You're gonna select the type freeze. As you can see, the first in the template is created automatically. Now here in the credit bureau, if you see the list, we have the list of all the bureaus that we have addresses for, and you can use even the Alt key as explained elsewhere to by pressing and holding the Alt key before hovering on the button. You can see everything. You can see the tooltip in a small window. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you may not want to do all of them. Depending on your strategy, you should know what you're doing in this direction, so you should study what to freeze or not. But in any event, I'm gonna show you the technique. Let's say that we wanna do it for all of them. Okay, so in that particular case, we will do, first of all, we will need to duplicate this letter 8 times. So we can use the duplicate button here, right? And that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, and then obviously you need to put the correct bureaus that you're gonna send to. In this example, not necessarily what you would do, but maybe you're gonna select all these, and that's pretty much that. Okay, so now you can print those letters if you want. Same procedure as before. So you can eliminate these, it doesn't matter because it's not going to be selected. So so printer, selected, and then you will have the 9 letters. So it's gonna take a while. I'm gonna pause the video so we don't wait. So now we have all the freeze letters here and additional documents that obviously you would need 2. I'm doing 1 just for brevity. So that's that. That's how you print the freeze letters. That's all for this part. Now we're going to study how to create the collection validation letters. Mostly collections, can be other types, but mostly collections. So first I'm gonna click on the name of the client, or I can click all to show all the letters, all the disputes actually. And in particular, since I want to work with collections, I'm gonna click the black arrow here to the right of the collection, okay, and select all of them. Right now we have these in progress. Wouldn't be correct if we want to send the validation letter, since the validation letter should be done before. So I'm going to change to reflect a more realistic approach. I'm going to change the all the status here by using the replace button. I'm gonna replace it for on hold, because you wanna kind of hold these collections while you're sending the validation letter. Okay. Also, you need to consider that this one, for example, because it's in red, this creditor does not have an address. Okay, so you need to consider that. And this one has an address, okay, but this one doesn't. So you need to consider that. Another thing that you should consider is that if you're gonna send to a particular creditor, you don't need to send, for example, 3 letters or 2. Just 1 will suffice to verify or to validate the debt. Okay, because in this case, well, you have two different numbers, and here, so you have 3 different numbers for Palisades here, but so you can definitely dispute 1 out of the 2. So in this particular case, we're gonna mark. First of all, we need to mark here because we're gonna do the envelopes for the creditor and not for the credit bureau. Okay, so that's the first thing. We're gonna mark it here. We're gonna mark this one. We're gonna mark this one because we're not gonna send 2, right? Mark 1 here and 1 here because they are the different ones. Now we easily can select this group of X's or check marks. I click at the top and then I'm gonna do select from selected. So I have this smaller group. These are the ones that I want to duplicate. Okay, so I want to duplicate this to produce the validation. I'm doing this in a way that is going to be good to do many 20s, hundreds even potentially of collections at one time. You could do this one by one, and that would be, in my opinion, a waste of time. But anyway, so here we have these 5. We see the navigation here, and we see 5. So we're going to click the duplicate button, and this time we're not gonna duplicate the current dispute, but we're gonna dispute all disputes displayed. So it's gonna be number 4 to duplicate all dispute displayed. Boom, and continue. Now we have these 5 to do, right? And we can select those 5 with this. Okay, so I'm gonna do it just by clicking again the black arrow and select from selected. So that's it. So I have that. I need to mark these 5 because the mark didn't transfer. So actually, to be honest, I didn't have to mark it before, only that it was useful to select that group. I could have done it in this column, which is a generic column to do whatever you want. Okay, so I did kind of a mistake, or the approach was wrong, even though the result is going to be the same. So again, if I wanted to do a generic group of any kind, I could have checked it here, select the same, and now I'm going to mark these 5. I can do it one by one, or I can click at the top and mark and select it, because current will be the yellow one. So select it. That's it. Notice that the credit bureau becomes blank, or in this case red, but empty, I meant. So we have this. Now we need to change the type. So we're going to change the type for collection for CR, for creditor. Okay, so I changed that. Notice that the letter changed, and I can do a replace now for all. I can do a replace, and all of them changed. So that's pretty much that. Now you are ready to print. They're gonna print. Well, you will need first, to be honest, to go based on the credit report and the addresses. Of course, this thing is more work for you, this process. But if you want to have better results, and if you are justifying your efforts with the fees that you're charging your clients, so if you're gonna charge more because you're doing more, well, then this would be the way to go. So anyway, so here you have this credit report, this creditor that does not have an address. You could find that address at the end of the credit report, and you can click go here to go to this particular creditor and edit the address. In this case, add the address. Same thing with this one. And that's it. Now we cannot print because it's going to be blank. It's going to be blank the address, so we cannot print. But you will print the same. Printing, selecting, selected, and that's it. It will print, and that's that. And that will be the validation letter. This is the validation. You can read it in the tooltip. Okay, so this is the one that essentially validates the debt, and then you will. The other ones you have on hold, and when you depending, we are suggesting 15 days, maybe 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks that you want to wait before sending the other ones that are on hold at this moment, send to the credit bureaus, and hopefully these collection agencies comply, and since they don't have the correct documentation, they're going to simply don't answer to the credit bureau, so the disputes will be deleted. So that is a way to delete collections, and again, you should not do this. You should do this when you see an error in the credit report. So this is not something that you do across the board and just teaching the techniques and not suggesting that you're going to go across the board and try to delete everything. Only the ones with errors or not verifiable are subject to deletion. So, and another thing, you should not, and it won't do it, you should not send this particular letter. If we actually view it here, you should send via certified mail, okay, via certified mail, and you should not sign it, okay, not signed, and no documents like social security or driver's license. You are simply verifying the debt, okay. So that's it for this area now. Thanks. Now I'm going to explain how to post the portals. To post the portals is really easy. It doesn't matter what you have selected here, meaning that you can have this or you can have all, because the portal is going to include all anyway. So to post the client portal, you will click here, the client portal button here at the bottom, click on it. We suggest to click no, not yes. That will create kind of a small analysis, which is unnecessary. It's like a duplication. So no would be better. Then you could send a notification to your client, to the affiliate, if the client has an affiliate, of course, and also, or to both. At this moment, I'm going to click none for obvious reasons, but it's possible to send it. The most usual is for the client. So I'm going to click none. Then you can select. You need to have your own agreement. This is a sample agreement that you can select, or you can leave it blank. In this case, it's already this one selected. You can clear. And that's it. Now the portal, in spite that only 5 disputes were selected, is posted, and we can see it here. Usually you're not gonna see it. I mean, you're not gonna see it because you simply know that the portal is there. But if you want to see it, you will click the eye icon, okay? And external. All right. And here we have, let me move this center a little bit, this. So this will be white label to you. So this is our stuff right now. This is a summary for the client. Depending on the credit that you're extracting, you're gonna have the scores here. Okay, this particular example didn't have scores. So you have the agreement that you sent can be signed by the client. Actually, we have not only the agreement, but also we have the right to cancel. And you can submit that, and it's gonna go to your email, and it's gonna be attached automatically into the client's documents tab. So everything is gonna be automatically, and your client can provide some documents, okay? And you can have here a link to monetize your, for example, if you have a monetization, you can click it here. You can click it here, and I'm gonna show you in a second where to go to enter this link, and the client can also enter the login information and send it to you. So that's pretty much the portal. The first page. Then we have the status page, where your client can see in detail, as opposed to others, in detail all the status from the different disputes, whatever they are. And it's important to know that our portals don't contain any sensitive information, and they are not connected to the program. So that is important because, in other software, you have the problem that they are connected to the database and they contain sensitive information, and it is a potential liability for you in a case of identity theft. Here, only you have the name of the client, but you don't have phone addresses, etc., social, date of birth, only truncated accounts. But on the other hand, you have when to follow up, so the client knows who you have the type, creditor account, and even the client can tell you things, like, for example, no change, do not dispute, etc. Now, in the attachments tab, the client can send you the responses from credit bureaus, for example, and other documents, by sending the attachment. And here they can ask you a question that will go to your email, and we have a small education database for your client that they can click on it. And notice that it's extremely fast portal, and one of the reasons is because it's not connected to the database, so it's extremely fast. And here your clients can refer you some friends that will go into the email system as well. And if you have a Spanish clientele, they can click in Spanish and understand everything, or they can click in Polish and understand nothing. Okay, so now that is how you post portals and how to advise your clients that the portal was posted, which is when you actually post it. So every time that you post the portal, you can send that email to your client, so the client knows that it's updated. And because our portals can work either with entering a password in your website or through a direct link that the client receives, because of that, they can have it on their phones, and with one click they can go to the portals very, very easily. Okay, so this is all right now, and the same for the affiliate portal. If the client had an affiliate and you wanted to update that affiliate portal, for example, because it was a new client or something, that would be here. Also, I want to point out, as I said before, here is where you would change the credit report provider that you want to convey to your client, whatever you want, whether it is Identity IQ, Identity Club, or Privacy Guide, etc. So you will type it here, and also you can see here the different boxes where when you check a box, that means that you received that document: Social Security, driver's license, utility bill, or 3 other documents, okay, and or the login information. So as opposed to whatever looks the opposite, you check it not to show it. Okay, so if you click here, for example, and click here, the status and the Social Security, driver's license, and utility bill, for example, or the login information, these are the ones that you don't want to request from your client. Automatically, they will be checked when the client sends the information. They will be checked automatically, but in some cases you may not want to request a utility bill, or vice versa, you want to request it. So in this case, if I post the portal, okay, I'm going to see that I don't have any of those requests. So for example, I don't have the agreement, I don't have the login information, and I don't have the social driver's license or the utility bill. Okay, so you control what you want to request from your client in a very easy manner. Remember that is up here. This information is in other places as well. Okay, so you need to know just the functionality and then use it from other places. For example, when you are in the extract dispute area in the other screen, you have these two. Here you don't have it because you have it down here. So that's it for this area now. Now we're going to learn how to process the second, third rounds, fourth rounds, etc. automatically. That is extremely easy, meaning that your client has a monitoring service. The monitoring service must be with the same one that you originally extracted. So that means you cannot have, for example, $1 monitoring service with Identity IQ, and then the next month another trial with Identity Club. That is not possible because they have different, usually they have different accounts. Maybe they have access, for example, or the creator's name is slightly different. So whatever is the reason, they're going to be detected as a new dispute. So anyway, that is very easy. You're going to click in the extract disputes and select. Well, select has to be the same because you already have it, and you're going to click on it. That's it. And the program is going to import the new month, and automatically is gonna check the ones that have been deleted and the ones that are new and the ones that haven't changed, and it will change the letters automatically. So essentially everything will be done automatically. So that's pretty much that. You click on it, that's it. Everything should work as long as the monitoring service is active by your client. We're going to explain right away the next video. We're going to explain how to do it manually or semi-automatically actually. Now we are going to learn how to do the processing of second rounds, third rounds, etc. semi-automatically. And that is for the cases where you don't have your client doesn't have a monitoring service active. Maybe did a trial for $1 and now he's receiving the answers from the credit bureaus, but basically you cannot do the automatic approach that was explained before. So in this particular case, what is need to be done is you need to mark the ones, for example, let's say I'm gonna mark this one, the ones that your client send you the responses. Okay, normally these days clients have a monitoring service. It's a good thing for both, for the client and for you, but let's be realistic, not all of them are going to do it. So for example, let's say that they sent you the responses of these 5. You can mark them and click at the top and select them. Okay, so this is a generic column that you can use for anything. In this particular case, we're using it for that, and we can right now, so we don't we can clear. Okay, so we can clear so we don't leave traces. So we selected the group and we clear the whole thing. All right, so so now what we do is Actually, this one on hold didn't make sense, but it's just an example. So you're gonna mark the ones that were deleted, for example. So I'm gonna put delete this one so we don't get confused. Notice that also the program is putting here to be paid in case that you're using paper deletion, and that will be explained in another video. But delete it, okay? And I'm gonna put this one as deleted as well, even though it could be updated because it's a late payment. So obviously the account has not been deleted, but the effect is the same, has the same color, and it has internally the same effect, only that only it's a different word to identify the ones that potentially are late payments versus the others that will really be deleted. If it was deleted completely, well, in that case, the deleted status should be appropriate. Okay, so now we have three, right? We have three that are in progress. So basically, they were verified. So we can click this button, okay? The P for processing. We're gonna click this button, and what's gonna happen, I'm gonna tell you in advance, is that the ones in progress will be changed to no change. To the status is gonna be no change. Seems the same as verified, only the verified to me looks like something positive, and no change is pretty clear they were not changed. And then it's going to create the duplicate and is going to change the letter, all that automatically. So I'm going to click here, and I'm going to select number 5. Duplicate all disputes in progress. The dispute will be changed to no change, and the letters of duplicates will be changed to the next letter. So I'm clicking number 5. So no change, no change, no change. 3 new duplicates. 3 new duplicates for the, let's call it second round. And then the letter has been changed, as you can see here. Okay. So potentially now we will need just to print, or maybe if there were too many, we can create a group. In this case, for example, a group will be appropriate because the 3 of them are from Equifax, and if we print without the group, is going to create 3 different letters. So here I can produce a group for this, from selected, not from all, from selected, and it doesn't matter the numbers here. It's going to create a group of 3 essentially, and now I can print this group, and it's going to produce a letter with 3 disputes. It's as simple as that. So it takes seconds versus sometimes half an hour or even an hour in other software that you need to pretty much do everything manually. Here everything is automatic. Okay, so that's that for this video. In this section, I'm going to explain how to create a credit audit. It is extremely simple, actually, and usually you're gonna do that at the very beginning, meaning when you extracted the credit report the first time and you have all the derogatories, and not now. I didn't want to do it before simply because there were other things that were more important, but the reality is that you would do it before. Now, still you can do it, obviously. You can click Credit Audit here. You can type whatever you want to type, maybe recommendations, maybe an explanation on your, the curriculum that your company has, etc. So whatever you want. You can see a credit audit video here, so to explain even further. And then you just click Credit Audit, and you can view it, email it, or edit the credit audit. Okay, so I'm not gonna email it, I'm gonna just view it. So here it is. Usually you're going to email it, but you know, so it went to it was minimized by mistake. Okay, so you have all that, and that is your credit audit, the one that you will email your client. And if you want to modify it, you can go to the template manager, which is gonna be explained in the next video, how to work with the template manager. In this video, we're going to learn how to work a little bit with the template manager. To go to the template manager, there are many ways. The easiest way at this point here, being here, would be, actually you can go to the templates here, to the templates, and then simply go to the template manager, to a particular template here. That would be perfectly possible. But to do something generic, here in the scripts, you can click here or click Control 2. It is, I would say, very important, not essential, but very important if you know how to move. At least you need to know, by heart, how to open your notes. And this is not the notes of the client, but these are your notes. Or how to go to the templates, how to do a find, Control 4. So the most important ones are template, quick find, go to the email system, and go to contacts, and go to invoices if you're using invoices. That way you can navigate from anywhere in the program by using these scripts. If you don't remember, you can click scripts and click here. So we're going to the template manager now. In this particular case, we have displayed the credit audit. So I'm going to explain a few things. Here is the category. All right. Here is the category. So here, for example, we can go to the credit audit category. You can have many credit audits. You can duplicate a template. In this case, you will be duplicating this. You can modify it. And the one that has the symbol in the subject, the symbol is a double square brackets, the word audit, and then closing double square brackets. So if you have the symbol, that is going to be the default. In other words, that's going to be the one that is going to be used automatically. You can have others. Same thing with the agreements, right? So here we have a sample agreements that you're gonna here is the consumer rights, which is part of the agreement, and here the sample agreement. So the agreements, you can have several with the symbol agreement. So potentially you can duplicate one, make some changes. If you have a different kind of payment, which is obviously very important thing, and you need to check this with somebody that you trust, accountant, attorney, whatever, because this is just a sample. That could be, correct for your particular state, county, city, who knows. So you need to verify that. And but you can have unlimited agreements and use the agreement symbol to make them available in the selection list when you're printing agreements, right? When you're selecting the agreement. So now we're going to explore, for example, we have the credit audit here. We have the agreements, and we have this is the section that contains the letters that we use for the credit repair. Also, in the miscellaneous, we're going to explore this for a second. We have here the letter that contains the link to your client. So essentially, this is what your client will see, right? And and this is the one that the affiliates will see when you send the letter. Okay, so it can be modified, absolutely. Now I'm gonna explain a little bit how to create or duplicate the templates, or create your own templates. So here, this is the default personal spinner DNA dispute next assistant. This is the DNA, and here we have all the letters, right? For example, the freeze letter or the 15-day constructive notice, etc. And we have this one in particular, the generic initial dispute. Notice this text here. I'm gonna put a little bit of a better font, so I can put a larger font here. So you can see that we have these curly brackets, and then we have bars in between words or phrases. This is because of the spinning system that allows you to automatically create unique letters, trying to avoid detection by the OCR, the optical character recognition of the credit bureaus. Okay, so I mean, it would be possible if you want to eliminate all this manually and be fixed if you don't want that actually goes at random every time that you print the letters. Okay, so that's one thing. The other thing to notice here is this. This is related to the type of dispute. For example, late payment is number 8, and I believe number 2 is bankruptcy, and etc. So you can see that here in these instructions, in this button. You can see that. You see, bankruptcy number 2, late payment number 8. Okay, so and you have a lot of things here that you could explore. Don't do it immediately, in the sense that this is a lot of power. You can control what the template writes or displays based on the state of the client, based on the credit bureau. It can do even mathematical formulas, can do a lot of things. So, but try to do it at a later time once you know the basics. And so you see here, for example, and this one says 2A. 2A means round 1. A is 1, B is 2. So not to be confused with these numbers, okay? And so these are the A's, and for the B's we have, and that's how you can change. For the B's we have these, you see? The verification of procedure. You have all these are the B. So the numbers, the first number indicates, the first numbers indicate the type that you can check here, unless you know it by heart. And the second letter, I mean that's the letter between regular parentheses, is the round. So imagine that you want to use a different letter for your second round, for everything, or for one particular, let's say for late payment. You could grab this round, this symbol, delete it from here. As a matter of fact, you can delete it even by clicking this number, but you can do it manually also. You can delete this symbol. Actually, Control X would be nicer because you have it in memory. So you can Control X to cut the symbol, and then add the symbol to another template that you want to be the second round for late payments, and that will be done automatically. Okay, and then in the third payments and further, we have the Metro 2 system, where this one works with different reasons trying to dispute all the items that should be correct under the Metro 2 system. Okay, so this will be assigned automatically. Again, you are in total control as long as you understand what are the different um, rounds, the different rounds. In this case is round C, but also this is related to the Metro 2 system. How do you know what is going to be Metro 2 system or not? Well, that is related to a checkbox that you will mark, that is marked actually automatically, but you can uncheck here. You see Metro 2 system. So here you have all the different items, the different parameters that should be correct under the different types. And if you don't check these, then a template that will have the C will be the third round, for example. But if it's checked, then it's going to be a template that has the MSC, for example, and or MSD in the next one, etc. So let me go back to templates, and so in the template manager, so you could use the C. You can see here that this has the C, etc. But this one will also change automatically, will stay here, and it will change automatically because it's the Metro 2 will change for rounds 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, etc. Sometimes you have, depending on the type of dispute, you may have even up to 15 rounds. In order to display a letter in the dispute center, so in other words, in order to be selectable, it has to be checked here. And a regular template, like the ones, for example, for the miscellaneous, has to be checked here. This one, we don't want them here because it's not a dispute. So this one is related to contacts. So that have to be checked here to make it available, and for other things. And the disputes, like the one that we have here, are the ones that you want to be selectable in the, so you see all these are selectable, essentially. Selectable in the dispute center, so you can select them manually. How? Well, let's go back. So potentially you could click here and select whatever, but in order to select, this one has to be to do. Okay, and so you can select whatever template you want from the selectables, or you could change the type if that was appropriate, of course. And I'm gonna put here charge off, and it's gonna change. In this case, you see it changed the reason because this is the genetic initial dispute. So basically, is the one that is for all. But you may have something special. Some people like, for example, dispute inquiries. Let me see, we have here, yeah, we have this one. I mean, we put a type here, it's going to be the same here, but we have a specific letter for inquiries. Well, this is to dispute with the creditor, but here, okay, so this one, for example, will be specific. Well, you need to know if, and potentially you can put this automatically by putting the symbol that would be bracket or square bracket, let's say 6, because the inquiry is 6, and then between parentheses would be the A, for example, and that will select this one automatically. Okay, so that is kind of important. It's important to know, not to remember what I'm saying, is to remember the technique, what you can do. All right. Also, it's good to know, and I don't have a other place where I said it, but it's possible to add a dispute manually. Even a positive dispute doesn't have to be necessarily negative, but you can add a dispute manually for whatever reason that was added and you didn't have it. Then you're gonna select, for example, charge off, right? You're gonna type the creditor, so I'm gonna put here Sears, for example. Okay, so there are several Sears, so you select the one that is correct. You can even add one, of course. You can put the account number here, and then we once you have all that, the amount, which is the amount balance, and then you can click number 3. So it will create 3 for the 3 credit bureaus. Okay, so with this technique, actually, a person that has some practice can create, not as fast as just clicking on a button, obviously, but it can reasonably, and by comparison to other software, I mean, you can extract the whole credit, not extract, you can add the whole credit report from any credit report program just by copying and pasting. That's why we have these up arrows. These up arrows will copy or will paste actually what you have in your Windows clipboard. So if you have a credit report, you can highlight the creditor and copy with Ctrl+C and then paste it by clicking this button. You can paste it automatically. And same thing here for the account, and same thing for the amount. Okay, so you can enter these things without typing. So to avoid error, you can just simply paste it. So that's it for now, and you will have other videos just by going to LMR, like Larry Mary Radio support.com, and there you can see other videos.